Hello, everybody. We're here in Curate Your Health for a food label training event. And so I'm really excited to be talking to you guys today. I'm Heather Hammerstedt, founder and CEO of Holist, and we are a lifestyle medicine coaching and consulting company. I'm a physician on the front lines heading into the emergency department tonight. And with that in context, I kind of wanted to, some of you may be wondering, like, why are we talking about food labels when we're all worried about infection and social isolation and all that stuff? And the answer is, number one, because life does continue even if you're stuck at home with your kids. And number two, there is no better time to be working on your mind and your body and how you fuel yourself than a period of uncertainty, because the better off we are with health, the better off we're going to be for everything that is yet to come. And so if you haven't started working on yourself yet, now is the time to do it. So with that caveat, hi Kelly, hi Sal, hi Barb, hi Kelly. Oh, we've got a couple Kellys. And Christine, thanks for joining me. So I think this is going to be pretty fun. We're going to do just a mini training on food label. If you're at home, you might want to run into the kitchen and grab a package of food. Anything that has a nutrition label on it will work, because I'm going to just break down, how I read some of the most important parts of the food label, and you might want to follow along. And again, before I get started, and while you guys grab that food, in case you don't know me, again, Heather Hammerstedt, emergency medicine doctor, lifestyle medicine doctor, and I help women get to the body and mind that they desire as a side effect of doing real work using real food and real evidence behind lifestyle medicine and neuroplasticity, proven systems, and ton of accountability. So if you're, thank you, Christine. I will attempt to be as safe as I can on my shifts this week. So if you're watching live with me right now, write live below. And if you're watching the replay, write replay. This is how Facebook works in terms of getting people to be able to see this. And so hi Barb, hi Kelly. Okay, so on to analyzing your food label. Let's take a look at this nutrition panel. So the first thing we're going to look at is the wheat checks. Okay, these are my kids. Basically, what I'm about to tell you all of this right here, but I also have a new ebook that's called Cracking the Food Label, and it's free right now, so you can snag your copy by just dropping a comment in here that just says food label, and then I'll know that you want one, and I will send it on over to you in Messenger. So if that's interesting, if this is interesting to you and you want to learn more, there's a ton more information in there. Okay, the first thing that I like to do is look at the ingredient list. Okay, so how many ingredients are there? Basically, the fewer the better. That generally means the food that you're eating is less processed. So I personally try to keep the ingredients in my packaged foods when I eat them to 5 or less. That's my own general rule of thumb. So we're looking here: a whole grain wheat, sugar, salt, molasses, baking soda, vitamin E, and vitamin E is added to preserve freshness. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Did you know that these are listed in order of their weight? So the ingredient that's used the most is listed first, and the ingredient that is used the least is listed last. So that's a good way to just kind of get an idea around quantity with that. So you'll see in this one, the first one is whole grain wheat. So that is, that's really good. If you can't pronounce it, it's probably not something you want to put into your mouth. My dog just interrupted me here. Turns out dogs can open doors. So if you can't pronounce it, may not want to be putting something in your mouth, one of the ingredients that you want to pay close attention to is the one that comes next. Sugar. It's the second one, right? So second. So yes, whole grain wheat is for some good, not if you're trying to lose weight, and obviously not if you're a gluten person. But the second thing is sugar. Okay, so you need to be careful here, because manufacturers can be a little tricky about this. So there are 60 different names for sugar. So here's a few of them. One of them was right here, molasses, right? Barley malt, dextrose, agave nectar, dehydrated cane juice, fructose, Anything that ends in an ose is basically a sugar, and it sneaks its way into everything. So the more you know, the better choices you'll be able to make, right? Also, if you see the words hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated on the label, that means that there are unhealthier fats in the food. So that's something you want to keep your eye on. Let's look at this one. So this one is, these are like these, I'm not a keto person, but I find some of their stuff useful. This is a Birch Bender's like pancake mix, basically, that we use for the kids. And so this one has almond flour, eggs, tiger nut flour, I don't even know what that is, organic coconut flour, cassava starch, buttermilk, salt and spice. So more than 5, but you know, it is what it is. Almond flour is going to be the most prevalent in here, and then the salt and the spice are going to be the least. Does that make sense? So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to look at the serving size. So 8 servings per container, serving size is 1/3 of a cup, okay? So if it's a serving size is 1/3 of a cup, but you would eat like twice that much, then you need to double the numbers for all the information on the food panel, right? So it's way too easy to eat more than the recommended portion size. So you got to pay very close attention to that number. Okay, third, you're going to want to pay attention to the total number of calories in the macro breakdown. So while calories aren't bad for you, that's not, calories in equals calories out is not like, that's not science. It's just an easy way to trick you. But you definitely want to know, how many are in there so that you can have an idea of how much you're eating throughout the day. So processed foods often contain a lot more calories than you think they do. So it's always a good idea to check. And as far as macros, protein, carbs, and fat, I could talk about them all day. So if you want to see my exact breakdown where I lay it all out for you, definitely don't forget to check out my new ebook, that Cracking the Food Label Code. If you want that, please drop food label into the comments so that I can drop that in for you. And I'm already seeing a whole bunch of you doing that. So awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, Charmaine, thank you for taking notes for me. It's so helpful. Okay, so in a nutshell, you want to make sure that the percentage of fat, carbs, and protein aligns with your overall goals. And that's going to be different for everyone, right? Like if you're me in weight maintenance mode with a goal towards, fitness and endurance, that is entirely different than some of you who may need to lose 50, 100 or more pounds, right? Your goal is going to be entirely different. That's why we here at Holist, we personalize everything. So, so when we're looking on here, we're talking about total fat, 11 grams. That's 14% of what you're supposed to have in a day. Saturated fat, that's some of those unhealthy fats. Trans fats, then you have the cholesterol, sodium, total carbohydrate there. That's 10 grams. That's 4% of what, the government says you should be having. If you haven't seen my carbohydrate live, you need to go find it, because you need to be talking about unprocessed versus processed carbohydrates in 2 totally different ways. And then you see the sugars, and you'll see that on a lot of these, they actually have, I realize I'm showing this to you and it's probably backwards, but they have the total sugars, and then they have added sugars, right? So even my 5 and 8-year-olds will pick this up and they'll be like, added sugars, right? But it's total sugars, is natural sugars, or is it added sugars? And so that's really important. You can see here, this one had 0 added sugars and 3 grams of total sugar. And that's because it's got, it has coconut flour in it. And what else would it be coming from? Yeah, that's about it. So you can see here, though, total sugars are 6, included added sugars are 6. So added sugars are what you're really trying to avoid, and why wheat checks would ruin the fact that they have like a whole grain cereal by putting 6 grams of sugar in it. Do you know that 4 grams of sugar is a teaspoon? That's disgusting. Think about that. Okay. Fourth, let's take a look at things that you generally want to have less of. So we're talking about sugar again here. Women probably should shoot for less than 25 grams a day, and men less than 38 grams per day. And again, depending on what your goal is, if you are a sugar addict or a food addict, which many of us are, then you are using sugar to reward your brain and to flood serotonin into your brain tissue. You should definitely just not eat added sugars. That's just kind of the way that it is. Who else is here? Maura, Cynthia, Kat, Daisy. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. Minu, hi. All right, so next we're going to look at sodium content, because that really adds up quickly too. If you're concerned about high blood pressure, which runs in my family, you have to pay close attention to this number, and this drives me crazy because I'm like a total salt fiend. So if you're eating processed foods, this is one of the sneakiest items. The American Heart Association recommends eating less than 2,300 milligrams a day of sodium, but they say that the ideal amount is actually less than 1,500 milligrams per day. You've now like witnessed like half of my family coming in. So just for reference, that's a little bit over, let's see, in a teaspoon of salt, there is just a little over 2,300 milligrams of sodium. Okay, so that, just think about, there's 2 teaspoons to think about then. 4 grams of sugar, 1 teaspoon, 2,300 milligrams of sodium in a teaspoon. Okay, so do any of these have sodium? So this one has 350 milligrams in a third cup, in a third of a cup, right? And this one has 340 milligrams in a serving size of 1 cup. I mean, who eats 1 cup of cereal? So really adds up quickly. Okay, now on to the things we want more of. This is number 5, okay? Take a quick scan of the minerals and vitamins and look at how much of your daily value you're getting in here. So I'm talking about things like calcium, iron, vitamin C, etc., and fiber. So this one, vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium, and then your total fibers there, okay? So with fiber, it's really good for digestion and gut health. It also helps you keep you feeling full. And fiber and vinegar are 2 of the things that actually can mitigate your insulin peak when you're eating, which means that the insulin is what decides whether you're gonna burn or store your energy and fat, okay? So good to have. So women should have up to 25 grams of fiber a day, and men should have about 38. So all of these things add up over the course of the day to keep you healthy and energized. And so how are we doing so far? Give me a like if you're still with me. And give me a love even. Facebook loves. That's how they get everybody to see these things. All right, so I'm gonna share one last thing before I get going. It's my 10-second quick scan food label technique, okay? And again, I'm teaching this all to you in the ebook too. So drop a food label and I'll send it over to you for free. So it's just, in just 10 seconds, you'll know if the food is something you wanna put into your cart or not, okay? Here's what I do. First, I look at the ingredients panel, and if there's something in it I don't want to eat, I just put it back on the shelf. Okay. Next, I look at the serving size, and if it seems reasonable, I keep going. And then I check the calories and the macro breakdown to make sure it aligns with my goals. And that's what we do at Holis, is we help you figure out what that is for you. If it makes the cut, I glance at the sodium and the sugars and the things I want to have less of in my diet. And lastly, I look for the brand with the most good stuff in it. So if I had like 3 or 4 of these in front of me, I would just scan them all right next to each other and put the other 3 away, right? So pretty simple. First, eliminate the not so good stuff, then check for the health bonuses. And I hope that helped you. Knowledge is definitely power. If you would like more information on any of this, I'm just a DM away. And don't forget to grab the free ebook, Cracking the Food Label Code, where I go into even more detail to help you reach your goals. If you want it, drop that food label into the comments and we'll get it right to you. Thanks for watching. And again, as I started this conversation, while some of you were kind of not quite on here with me, is there a reason why I'm on here talking about food labels today when we're all socially isolated and fearful and not sure where our economy is going to go, and we don't know how to homeschool our kids, unless you're Charmaine. She's got that taken care of. The reason why is because there's no better time to create a better future for yourself and to learn how to value you and who you are and how you choose to fuel yourself and how you choose to move your body. There is no better time to prepare for uncertainty than to put you first. And so we're going to keep plugging away over here at Holist, serving our clients, serving you, trying to provide good, serious, science-based information around weight, around food, around neuroplasticity and your mindset to get you to the body and mind that you want. And so if you want to hop along for the ride, jump into my messenger and ask me what I'm talking about. If not, I'll send you that free ebook if you drop things into the messenger there. And I will see y'all soon.